welcome to Vegan diye bir YouTube channel. Today I have a special guest. Didem Varol is here with me today. Thank you for coming, Didem.
Of course, my pleasure.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. It's been such a lovely weather today since the morning. We have been planning this meeting for like 1 week, maybe or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to come back from holiday.
Yes.
So how was everything?
How
was the
very
holiday?
hot.
And you don't like hot.
Well, I come from Canada, so I'm used to a little bit
Understandable.
colder weather.
That's really okay. Actually, Didem is one of the nicest people I have met last year at International Veg Fest Istanbul. This is like the third person I guess I'm having on ÇİMLERDEKİ Vegan series on YouTube. So I just asked her if she like to have a meeting with me for YouTube, and she said directly yes.
Of course.
Because she's a lovely person. And she is a registered dietitian.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I did it.
Registered
She is a
dietitian.
registered dietitian. She's vegan, of course. And today I'm going to ask some questions about her personal life. Let's just talk about you first. Didem is more comfortable with English. She has lived in Canada for a long time.
Yes.
Since you were 3 years old, I guess.
Yes, I was born in Turkey to Turkish parents,
Yeah.
but at the age of 3 we immigrated to Canada.
No.
So I grew up there, I went to school there, graduated, worked, got married, had children, everything there.
Can I say more than 30 years? Is it okay for you?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and have just been living in Turkey for the last 4 years.
Okay.
Only. So English is my first language.
Naturally, she speaks English much better. But this is not the reason that we're doing this video in English, because I thought that I already have. Oh my God. The wind. Wait a second. We already had so many Turkish-speaking, native-speaking guests on this series, and probably I will have more, hopefully. But I have someone who can speak English very well. This is a challenge for me, but this is a nice thing for the other subscribers on YouTube, because there are other countries subscribers as well. And Didem has a lot of nice information to share today. So thanks for accepting do it in English.
Yeah, well, thank you.
This is much better for you, actually. I'm the nervous one.
Yeah.
So I interrupted, sorry. So you were saying that you're living in Turkey for 4 years already.
It'll be 4 years this fall.
And you have your family here, your husband and two lovely kids.
Yeah.
Just tell us about your life a little bit.
Yeah, yes. So born in Turkey, moved to Canada, and went to school there. At my first degree, actually. So I am a registered dietitian, but I initially studied chemical engineering because my father. Did you know that?
How? No.
No. Okay. That was my former
I would never forget something like this if I heard before.
Yeah. My father's an engineer. My sister's an engineer. It was kind of like natural that I go into that, and I always enjoyed science and math. But I hated engineering. I mean, it's a wonderful profession for all the engineers out there, but it wasn't for me. And I worked, so I finished my degree, I worked, and I wasn't happy. And one day at my place of work, there were other people working there as well. And I was in the elevator with a lady, and we started talking, and I said, "Oh, what do you do?" And she said, "She's a dietitian." And I said, "Oh, what's that?" I didn't even know what that was. And of course, she told me about her career. And I thought, why didn't I do that?
Why nobody told me this before?
Yes, because I'd always been interested in food and health and fitness.
You love cooking?
Yes, I love cooking and baking. Baking a little more than cooking, but I do both.
We love people who love cooking.
Yeah.
Especially vegan people.
Yes. So I thought, it's now or never. I'll regret it if I don't do it. I was in my mid-20s. I went back to school for another degree in nutritional sciences and then graduated and became a registered dietitian and worked for Toronto Public Health. It's a department within the city of Toronto. I worked as a public health dietitian for nearly 10 years. And during that time, I had my children, and my husband, he's also of Turkish descent, but born and raised in Canada, and it was his dream to kind of always move back to Turkey. And I thought, okay, well, while the children are young, why not? It'll be good for them, a cultural experience. So that's why we came, and we're still here for 4 years. It'll be 4 years today. We'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah. She has really lovely 2 kids. I met them before. One of them, your daughter is 10 and your son is like
6 and a half.
6 and a half.
Yes.
She doesn't look like a mom who already has a 10-year-old kid.
Oh, the wrinkles are there.
No. She's just exaggerating. Vegan people do that. Don't take her serious. I would like to ask, because this is really important for me to talk to a vegan parent. especially in Turkey, we don't have that much.
Yeah.
And the ones that we do has lots of bad comments and like reactions on internet, as you can see. What does your kids know about being vegan lifestyle? Do they know what is the meaning of vegan?
I wish I could raise them vegan, but I'm not. And sometimes this leads to some controversy because people say, oh, you talk about being plant-based and yet you're not raising your kids plant-based. Well, to those comments, I'd like to say, welcome to parenting, because I'm not
easy to judge.
Exactly. I'm not the only one that's in control of their food choices. There's their father, there's their grandparents.
And their own choices.
Exactly. Yeah. So as much as possible, I only offer them plant-based choices. And there's certain things that do not even enter our home, like cow's milk does not enter our house whatsoever. And it's beans, beans, beans. I push the beans a lot. You know, I very rarely cook meat. I get my husband to do that if that's what they want. So my kids know a lot about it because I bring it up all the time. I'm like, oh, did you know this was vegan? Or my daughter will want a cake and she'll be like, but can you not make it vegan? I'll be like, okay. And I make it vegan. I'm like, see, you didn't even notice. You didn't even notice. And it was good, you know? And of course there's some things they don't like and they complain about, which is fine. But yeah, I think for a 10-year-old and a 6.5-year-old, they know a lot about food and where it comes from in nutrition, because I always say, did that have a mother? If it had a mother, it's not for me.
That's a nice question. I love it. When people ask us, how do you know what to eat or what to not drink?
Yeah.
This is exactly what I'm saying all the time. Did it have a mother?
Yes.
If yes, you know the answer actually.
Yeah.
So, but it's really nice for your kids to just grow up in a environment that has a mother, knows many things about, and they're experiencing it, and in the end, of course, it's their decision.
Yeah.
It's not about vegan lifestyle. Of course, I'm not gonna talk to you about parenting. You are actually living it. I'm just observing it. But as much as I can see from other parents that I know in my life, that it's not something you cannot push them to do something. Our parents couldn't push us to do something as well, like engineering.
Yeah.
Your family
exactly.
just push you maybe in that way, but in one day,
eventually,
you said that in the end, it always happens as you like it.
Yeah.
So, but at least, comparing to me, baby, or many vegans, they are raising in an environment that's they can ask or they can experience about vegan lifestyle.
Exactly.
This is a plus for them.
Because how many kids know that you can have plant-based milks? To most kids, milk is milk, and there's only one kind of milk. But my kids know about all the kinds of milk there are. Soya milk, almond milk, hazelnut milk, you know. So at least they have that knowledge. They have that seed that's planted. And yeah, I don't want to be the food police. No. I'm already perceived as such. Like you said, your children are lucky, but if you ask them, they're so unlucky. I wish you weren't a dietitian, they tell me, because it's not just about plant-based or veganism. I also want things to be healthy. And so, you know, I really watch the sweets and the junk food, and they, trust me, they get it. I'm not saying, no, you can never have it, but just because it's always around. Junk food is always around 24/7, and everybody's offering it, from the teacher to the grandma to the, you know, so there's no such thing as a treat anymore, because it's no longer a treat when you're offered it every second hour, you know. So I try to limit it, and for that I'm seen as the food police, despite the fact that I don't think I am.
Bad police, actually.
Yeah, and other people, not just, it's an environment, like I said, teachers and people in Turkey, we're very generous. Right? So Turkish is a very generous culture. You'll be at the park and someone will open a biscuit package and be offering your child, and it's like, no, please don't
make me a bad police here. I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
And this is, you are not their only advisor or mentor in the life. They are going out, they are going to school, they have friends.
Exactly.
There are so many factors that they can be affected by.
And later, when we talk about, you know, how I became vegan, I became vegan after they were already born. So it wasn't like, you know, they were raised this way from me from birth. You know what I mean?
So let's come to that question. How long it has been that you became vegan?
Yeah, I started my transition, I guess you would call it, in about 2016. So it's about 6 years ago now that I started, you know, being more plant-based. It wasn't overnight.
You were a vegetarian before?
For most of my life. So that's we start when I'm 14.
Let's go back to 14.
Yes, grade 8. Grade 8.
And flashbacks.
I was learning about the environmental impacts of animal agriculture, and I was very much an environmentalist. I had a very good teacher in grade 6 who inspired me to think about our environmental footprint. And when I learned about that in grade 8, I was like, wow, this is wonderful, because I love anything to do with the environment, and I don't like eating meat, and my family always forces me to. Now I have the perfect excuse not to. So I said, I declare that I'm going to be vegetarian. And of
Amazing.
course, well, my traditional Turkish family didn't think so. They were like, oh, what is she going to do? She's going to get too skinny. She's going to get sick. You know, the typical reaction, right? It depends on the family. I think some families are more, you know, welcoming and opening to their kids, you know, ideas, right? And then other families are like, no, we know what's best for you. I mean, they all have good intentions. I'm not faulting. They all love you and they just want the best for you. But some parents just manage it differently. So, yeah, my family wasn't happy about it. So I would sometimes still eat meat to make them happy. So I was a very shy kid, and also I didn't want to disturb anybody. Like, we would go somewhere and they'd be like, well, what are we gonna make her now? And I'd be like, don't worry, okay, I'll just eat what's there, you know? So I wasn't very a strict vegetarian because I didn't want to be a burden on people. But as soon as I became adult age and was out of the house, I was a pescatarian. So no meat.
Slow transition.
Still fish. Why? Because at that time, Canada's Food Guide was recommending 2 servings of fish a week. And as I was interested in health and slowly getting to be a dietitian and learning these things, I'm like, oh, I have to follow Canada's Food Guide, and which, by the way, has always been influenced by industry, except for the latest version that was done in 2019 that had no industry influence. And surprise, surprise, it's plant forward. I wonder why. Yeah. So I was a pescatarian and everything was good. And even when I started my dietitian degree, I didn't become vegan. Why? Oh, because we learned about the benefits of dairy and how important it is. And I was like, yes, this is what I needed. Why? Because I loved dairy and I had heard some bad things about it from so-called nutritionists. And I thought, they're not dietitians. They don't know what they're talking about. And I thought, no, these professors, I mean, I'm at one of the best universities in the world, not to mention
Which
Canada.
university?
McGill in Montreal, McGill University. Like, this is what my professors are telling me. It must be right. Little did I make the connection that sometimes we would have guest speakers from dairy farmers of Canada. Into our classes, the same people who are giving research funding to my professors who are telling us about the benefits of dairy.
Of course, they are going to defend it. But you don't get the connection that time.
No. So I graduated, I started practicing as a dietitian, and I'm mainly still pesco-vegetarian. The problem was my Turkish husband.
Sorry.
It
has to be said.
He happens to be a very good cook. And you know, it's that age where you're trying to fit in, like when we were going out before we were married. And again, you don't want to be that difficult person who's the picky eater and doesn't eat, right? So he goes to all the effort to make this food, and you try it, and then I was like, wow, his kifta is good. And because I didn't realize the ethical side of veganism, it was just like, it's a little bit of meat, you know, it's okay.
And he's a really real good cook.
Yes, very good cook. So he crept back that meat. I say he. The meat kind of crept back into my life a little bit, and I had 2 kids. And then on my second maternity leave, I'm going to end this story almost. On my second maternity leave, I was, at home. We're so lucky in Canada. We get 1 year off for maternity leave. Yeah,
amazing.
It's great.
Just like Turkey, exactly like Turkey.
I've heard.
We do have the same.
So I thought, on my year off, I'm going to read a book. I need to, about nutrition. I need to make sure I keep up to date with things, right? I mean, I was here and there with some courses, but I thought, let me get something. And I happened upon a book by T. Colin Campbell, the author of the China Study, which is one of the biggest, nutrition studies ever done. And that's where I discovered the whole field of plant-based nutrition. And at first I was amazed, and then I was furious. I was furious because why didn't I learn this in school? The enormous body of evidence. Mind you, I had graduated about 10 years earlier, and even in a span of 10 years, so much research advanced in this field. But that book just opened up a new world to me. I started taking more courses, reading more books, reading the literature.
What was this book about?
He wrote the China study, but I wrote his book that came after the China study called Whole. So I recommend it to everybody. The title of the book is Whole, and it was about the importance of taking a holistic view of nutrition. So, not looking at just individual nutrients, and also stressing the importance of whole plant-based foods. So it was revolutionary for me. Like, I couldn't believe that that's what he was professing, is eat a diet just of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, nuts, and seeds, and that was completely not only sufficient but beneficial. And like I said, it didn't finish with that book. It just opened a whole new world, and I became certified in plant-based nutrition. I've taken a lot of courses and special trainings in it, and continued to do so to advance my knowledge in the field. And it was right around that time that my husband was thinking, let's move to Turkey, and I was kind of disillusioned.
You're getting out of the way, Didem. We have to go back to Turkey.
Yeah, well,
she's losing the control. We have to go back to kebab and köfte.
Well, it's ironic that the only reason I thought okay professionally is because I'm not enjoying my current role as a public health dietitian anymore, because the new food guide, so I should show you, Canada's food guide came out.
She prepared. She's amazing.
Yeah, Canada's very proud of this. Canada revised its food guide in 2019.
This is Canada's food guide.
Yes.
Who's the Health Canada? This
producer is the
by the government.
Department of Health.
This is amazing.
Yes, exactly. So
Department of Health.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, same as in Turkey, but of course, Turkey's food recommendations are very different.
It's governed by meat industry in Turkey. We have an institution in Turkey, meat and dairy institution, governed by the government.
Yeah, probably subsidized.
Yeah, the institution that I'm just going to write the Turkish meaning below. This institution imports frozen meat, livestock, animals, and dairy and everything. I know because I worked in that industry for 4 years, and I was working for these tenders. Actually, the government was like opening tender, bringing like livestock and the frozen meat, and the company that I was working that time was getting in the tender, getting the job, and we were bringing like 150 trucks on every, like something like this, carcass meat from Poland or like sometimes from Europe in 3 months. Which is a huge quantity. So I know how our government is working. Everybody knows that, but this is something we don't have in Turkey.
I mean, up until 2019, our food recommendations were highly influenced by industry as well. But so before this came out, like 2017 is when I was, 2016, 17, I went back to work. I was still promoting the old food guide that had a glass of milk and that recommended fish twice a week. And I thought, I can't do this anymore. I can't. The science has changed, and we're not, like, there's a research study that shows actually that it takes about 17 years for science to get into practice. Like, even though the recommendations are there on paper, to get into practice, it's like a slow-moving train.
Slow.
And so I thought to myself, okay, let's move to Turkey. I don't want to do this job anymore. I'm going to grow my plant-based niche. I'm going to have my own private practice, and I'm going to raise my kids while they're small, not work that much. And that's how it led me to where I am. But yeah, this is a very useful guide. I'll talk about this plate a little more. I have another visual to show. Yeah.
Okay, so just show it as well.
Yeah, well, so if someone were to ask me, okay, well then, what's the healthy way to eat on a plant-based diet? This is it, and it's very similar to what Canada's Food Guide put out. So this is called the Power Plate, and it was produced by the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Maybe you can put a link.
Yeah, sure. Everything is going to be in the description. You can check all the links.
Yeah, I highly recommend that people look them up. They're a non-profit health organization.
We have people from there in last year's
VegFest. Yeah, because I have some contacts there. I mean, I've done they have a Food for Life program, it's called. I've done their training. I'm a certified Food for Life instructor through them. So yeah, they're credible, reputable, known worldwide for the work that they do in plant-based nutrition. And so this is called the Power Plate. Honestly, if everybody ate according to this plate in the world, most of our hospitals would be empty, because most of our hospitals are filled up with preventable chronic diseases, and a lot of that is lifestyle related, especially nutrition. So what do you see? you see a quarter plate of fruits, a quarter plate of vegetables, which if you put them together make half a plate of fruits and vegetables. I admit that at every meal you might not have fruit, for example, or you might not have vegetables, but all that means is at every meal at least have half a plate of fruits and or vegetables.
Minimum 2 of them at least.
Yeah, the more variety the better. Like it could be a salad with a lot of things, or it could be a morning oatmeal with lots of different fruits, but just the proportion is what's important. More fruits and vegetables than anything else.
Variety,
yeah. And then a quarter plate of whole grains and a quarter plate of legumes or beans. So these would be your chickpeas, black beans, lentils, soya foods like edamame beans, tofu, tempeh.
Our main like supplies actually.
Protein source, main protein source. So plant meat is what I call it. You know, instead of animal meat, plant meat.
Plant meat, yeah.
So a lot of vegetarians and vegans make this mistake. They, especially the ethical ones. I'm sorry to say, you know, you're very noble for going vegan, great, but then they just eat like pasta and salad.
We have to just understand the exact definition of being vegan.
Yeah.
Veganism is not a healthy diet. Veganism is not a diet at all.
The thing is, so veganism is a philosophy, whereas plant-based is referring to nutrition, only about food. So someone can be plant-based 100%, but not be vegan.
Exactly.
Just because they're doing it for health reasons.
It's
and that's completely
diet.
fine. Yeah, that's their own personal choice. But once someone goes vegan, that means they're thinking about their impacts on animals with everything they do.
Exactly.
But the thing with the term vegan, it doesn't tell you what you're eating. It just tells you what you're not eating. You're not eating animal products, right? So I prefer, when it comes to nutrition, I prefer the term whole foods, plant-based, because it tells you what to include, not exclude.
Yeah.
So you include all whole plant-based foods. That's going to be the healthiest diet for you, for the environment, and for obviously best for the animals.
Yeah. So
let's give an example. What did I have for breakfast this morning? Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us about that.
I had a banana.
Yeah.
I had half a peach, an apricot, and a fig.
Wow.
So there's my half a plate, and this time it was just fruit, no vegetable. I'm more of a sweet breakfast person. So I grew up in Canada.
This can be a choice.
I'm not a traditional, I don't eat like traditional Turkish way, so I prefer the sweeter breakfast. So I had a half a plate of fruit. I had 2 small slices of whole grain sourdough bread.
Okay.
And on that bread, I had some hazelnut butter.
Yeah.
Sugarless hazelnut butter and ground flaxseed.
Wow.
So I had everything except for legumes, which is okay. But here's the thing. As a vegan, ensure that out of 3 meals a day, at least 2 of them have beans. You know, your breakfast might not have it, or if you're having a light supper, maybe you're not having beans, but out of 2 of your 3 meals have beans, or if you're only doing 2 meals a day, some people are doing like this time-restricted eating, where they don't eat, you know, late at night and then not till midday.
But at least one of the meal, maybe.
Well, if you're eating then 2 meals only a day, then try to ensure at both meals there's beans. Yeah. So that's how that would work. A more traditional Turkish breakfast. Let's talk about that. Could be half a plate of vegetables. So arugula, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers. You know, all those things that we have at breakfast, right? So you got your half a plate veg. You got 1 slice or two slices of whole grain bread. We don't want the whites. Whole grain rye or whole wheat bread. And then, how would you have beans at breakfast? Why not hummus? You know, so don't think that can't be done. Like we have a lot of, in Turkey, I feel like we have a lot of unwritten food rules. You know, like that can't go with this. And,
why not?
you know, you only eat fruits at this certain time. No. You eat fruit whenever you want. So why not have hummus at breakfast? Leave out the garlic if you don't want it. I understand. Leave out the garlic. Why not start breakfast with a lentil soup? Mercimek çorbası. Why not?
And we do that in Turkish culture.
Sometimes
we always start the day with soups, actually.
Or piyaz, like a bean salad. You know,
piyaz is only for rakı, actually, for people.
See, that's another thing.
That's an unwritten rule. Why not?
Again, another unwritten rule.
Some people start the day with rakı, so you can start the day with piyaz as well. Why not?
And I'm talking about the easier options here because some people don't know about tofu. Like if you're not vegan, you might not know about tofu, but all of these beans you know about. You've had them before, just at different times of the day.
We have them in our culture already.
But tofu, you could make scrambled tofu, like a tofu menemen.
You can make omelette with lentils as well.
Or lentils or chickpeas. chickpea flour. I make a really good chickpea omelet. One of my clients actually gave me the recipe. I learned from my clients as
there
well.
There are so many amazing recipes. But you know what? That's the funny thing, that most of the things that you think that vegans are like consuming expensive and like weird stuff, we don't eat them.
When people are first transitioning to this way of eating, those products can be helpful. They're called transition foods.
Exactly.
So the vegan meat analogs, we call them, or the vegan cheeses, vegan yogurts.
Don't say vegan cheese. They can ban our video.
I know there's something going on in Turkey about that right now. That's awful that they're banning, like, ridiculous.
This is such ridiculous. Exactly.
About money. But I actually don't recommend those products long term.
Yeah.
Because they're still junk food. They just happen to be plant-based junk food. And they're usually high in fat, and a lot of coconut oil and palm oils used, which are high in saturated fat. That's the worst kind of fat for us. That raises our cholesterol, increases our risk for heart disease. So once in a while, they're okay. And as a transition food to get you off of the dairy, like in nutrition, everything is relative. So yeah, if I had the choice between dairy cheese or vegan cheese, I'm obviously going to choose vegan cheese. But if I had the choice between dairy cheese, vegan cheese, or a bean spread like hummus, hello, I'm going to go to hummus, put on my bread.
Registered dietitians.
Yes.
Not everybody's process is the same.
No.
Everybody has different stories. Everybody has different moments to just click.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just one night.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes like years.
Yeah.
Sometimes it still didn't take, and you're watching this maybe and trying to figure out how did people do it.
Yeah.
So before you think about, you said that you were kind of like almost vegetarian for whole life. You like stopped consuming meat products at least when you're a kid.
Yeah.
So I assume that you don't have any story that you can say against vegan or vegetarians in the past. You were not like judging to them, because most of the vegan people in the past, when they were not vegan, they say like some bad stuff about vegan people.
In fact, I envied them. Because I was like, I really wanted to go full vegetarian, but my family and my friends, and I was like,
she
wow.
has a so clear past. I cannot get any chaotic stuff from there. So let me try something else. When you became vegan, after becoming vegan, from your family or friends or like social life or social media or from your environment, anything, what was the like absurd or like weirdest comment or like question that you get? And the moment you said that, I don't even understand the point of this.
Yeah. You know what I hate? I hate when I say I'm vegan and then they ask, well, are your kids vegan? I say, well, I wish they were, but they're not. Oh, good. Oh, thank God you're not
this
vegan.
reaction.
And I'm like, oh, really? Like, first of all, everyone thinks they're self-professed nutrition experts.
Exactly.
So
everybody's a nutritionist in Turkey.
Yeah. Well, no, everywhere. Like, I'm not like talking about Turkish people. I'm just like, because there's a lot of bias towards meat and dairy, because rightly so, we've been programmed. We've been born into this paradigm that we need it in our diet. So automatically, regardless of what education I have or what title I have, people seem to know better than me how to feed my kids.
That's a weird thing to say to registered dietitian, that you can just claim that you know better about her kids.
Yeah. So that I get often. But I have to say, what was difficult about becoming vegan is the family life. Like, my husband's not vegan.
Okay.
So that's a bit difficult, because there's sometimes two sets of dishes I have to cook. I have to be mindful of, or I bake all vegan generally, but then sometimes, can you just make your old cookies with the butter in them? And it's like,
it hurts.
I can.
It hurts so bad.
Yeah, but I don't really want to, and then I feel bad that I'm imposing my views on them. But then I feel like, after all of the information I've given you guys, how can you not see the light? Like, so
this is a big challenge for you.
That's difficult. Like, I've always been the odd one out. So starting when I was 14 with just going vegetarian, but I've accepted it. This is the way it is, and that's why I love meeting people like you and other, plant-based and vegan people, because it's like, I'm not alone. I'm not the crazy, rogue vegan here. There are so many, and this is such a big movement. And I know I'm doing the right thing for me and the right thing for the world, the planet, the animals. So I'm just going to go, I'm going to do me. What they say is you do you, let them do them. So I'm just doing me and just letting them follow when they want and go off on their own path when they want to.
I just saw a poster on Instagram a few days ago. I don't remember which moment, but if I can find it, I will put the link on the description. It says that, yeah, I became vegan for health reasons, their health, and it shows the cows, pigs, and everything. This is an amazing expression. Just like in few words, you can just like tell the story that we've been trying to do months and years. And the thing is that you see it, and so many people, hundreds of people are watching this video, and some of them from Turkey, other side of the world, kids, vegan, non-vegans, like everyone, and the people that we don't know in real life can be affected, influenced by us. But when you go home, you see that your kids doesn't understand as well. And you said that I can influence a people I never seen in my life before. I've been doing this, like influencing on social media 2 years, and so many people are sending me messages that, oh my God, I'm so influenced by you. Your posts are just giving me like inspiration and everything. I'm so happy. And in the end, when I'm talking to my friends or like family and everything, like, how can you not see we're living in the same house and you don't understand it?
You need to interview a psychologist about this. This must be something, you know, psychological about the relationship between families, and maybe like a power struggle, like you know, I'm not going to do what you do, like you're so close to me. I don't know, but if someone who's not close to you will take your advice because it's completely objective, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It happens though, you know, Earthling Ed, he's a very famous vegan activist from the UK.
I admire him so much.
Yes, how he stays calm in some of the interviews he does.
I think he's definitely getting a therapy. He has a good therapist, because when I'm watching the video, I'm like this. Oh, and he's just sitting like this and like listening. It's amazing.
But I was listening to a podcast where he was being interviewed, and his own parents, or someone, either one of his parents or both of them, they're not vegan. And I'm thinking, this guy is internationally recognized as a vegan activist, and his own parents. So you see, again, he's influenced millions, I'm sure. But then when it comes to his own parents...
Because it's out of our control. People think that we influence them, but we're just speaking. You're already, if you're psychologically ready to transition, we are just pushing you just a little bit, like one inch or something like this. You're already on the edge. You're just waiting someone to just give you the courage.
Those people are ready, prepared.
We're not doing something that you don't want, so we're not convincing you anything.
No, there's no convincing.
We're just giving you a little bit courage, maybe, or you're waiting for the right moment, and we pop up in your script. That's all. So if you're not ready, there is nothing. Even Earthling Ed can't do something if you're not ready.
And he too. But I never thought about the ethical side until this last, when I became vegan, like this last 5 years ago. You know, but when I went vegetarian, it was for the environment. And then later for health reasons, and I didn't think about the animals. Like I'm so ashamed of that, actually. Like I always thought dairy was, like I said, it's no problem. The animals aren't dying, and we call them dairy cows. Imagine, dairy cows. So ever since we were little, we learned that milk comes from cows.
And cows are made for this.
Exactly. As a mother, like it sent like chills up my arm when I realized, like when the coin dropped, that those babies are taken away. Well, I have children. What if
happened to me as well?
What if my children were taken away? And I know what it's like to give birth, and then to have that urge to nourish your child and be close to them, and that's just taken away. I was like, what was I doing all those years? You know, I was so mad at myself.
I can still not watch like any like slaughterhouse, any farm videos still. By the way, even if I worked in like in this industry and I experienced it by myself physically, and I was maybe in like subconscious, probably I was affected, but I didn't know that time. I worked in that industry 4 years. I was all okay about what I was doing. I was so proud of the business I was working, and like I left the job. 6 months later, I was working in another whole different industry. It was glassware industry, nothing to do with meat. And one of my teacher from like acting school, we were having this conversation about Yulan Festival. I was like, it is 2019. How can you just eat dogs? This is crazy. And he told me that he's still vegetarian, by the way. He told me that, yeah, these people are stupid. I mean, why would you eat dog instead of like this delicious cows and like lambs? And I remember being like, stupid. And I was so furious at him. And then a few days later, he posted a story on Instagram with all this billboard saying that pet and food and where you draw the line.
The invisible line.
Exactly, where you draw the line. And I saw this again on his Instagram, and I remember realizing that moment. I was not angry at him at that day because he just like slapped me, and I woke up from something that I was acting two-faced. I was like feeding the cats and the dogs on the street. I adopted 2 kids at home, and the other side I was killing another animal for my own pleasure. Actually, what I was furious in that table when he said that, like, he just woke me up. I was quite happy in this dream that believing that I'm not doing something bad, and he just woke me up. So like years later, like 1 year later actually, I told him that I became vegetarian like a few months ago, and you're the reason. He said to me that, how come? You remember this discussion that we had? It was not a discussion. He just told me and I left. And he said that, yeah, I remember that. And I saw the like billboard on your Instagram. He told me that, really? It tricked you? I was like, yeah, I worked in slaughterhouses 4 years, nothing happened, and you say something, it tricked me, and next morning I woke up vegetarian. And now, like a few weeks ago, like we were in the school again, he came to me that, Mina, actually I want to talk to you about, I'm so close to being vegan and I need to ask you some stuff. I was like, I became vegetarian because of this guy, and now he wants to ask me some stuff. I was so happy. So I said that, yeah, you make me vegetarian in some way you don't know, and now you want my advice or suggestions about it. This just gave me chills.
Me too.
She gave lots of, I don't want to cut any of this. I don't have any idea how many minutes it's going to take.
I think it's going to be long. I have a tendency to talk a lot.
It is. But anyway, so it's been all like very valuable information that she gave. I'm going to put all the links that you can find her posts and contents and all the things that we talk about. I'm going to put all the links on the description. Follow Didem. She is a registered dietitian. And thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're saying goodbye. Thanks for watching. If you like the video and the other videos, you can subscribe the channel. This is really hard for me. Subscribe the channel, like the video, and comment. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.